Now this video isn't to convince you that rind flour is what you should be using, but I do want you to take a couple things into consideration. One, I understand if it's religion-based or health-based that you do not eat pork. Those are very valid reasons. But if it's just about the taste that you get from pork rinds, this is a video I recommend you watch to the end. I want to start this out to get you in the mindset needed to understand where I'm going to go with this. Imagine for a minute, if you're new to the kitchen, you decide you're going to whip up a chocolate cake. Friends and family come over, you finish eating the main meal. Now it's time for dessert. Out comes your cake. It gets sliced up, divided amongst all your friends and family, and as they're eating it, compliments are pouring in. Wow, this is amazing. This cake is wonderful. What did you use? And then all of a sudden, ew, someone turns a piece of cake. There's a big white clump in it. We know what that white clump is. You didn't do like Wes from Highfalutin Low Carb says, sift it. A method you failed to follow ruined your cake. That may very well be what's going on. When I first started the ketogenic diet in late 2018, I lost over 85 pounds in 6 months. But when I first started, it wasn't like it is now. You couldn't go to the store and pick up a snack off the shelf or just pull into your local convenience store and get something that would help you maintain ketosis. We had to make it all. And there was not many on-the-go things, so I decided I was gonna make a Lunchable. And with that Lunchable came a cracker and an Oreo. The meat was simple because all it required was taking a cookie cutter and punching out my meat. But a cracker, on the other hand, was different. After watching a video that Thomas DeLauer put out talking about how nutritious pork rinds actually were on the ketogenic diet, a light bulb went off. Man, what if I took my pork rinds, added cheese to them, and made a cracker? So I started with very heavily crushed pork rinds, but it wasn't a cracker because you had big chunks of pork rind in it. So I dialed it down and dialed it down and dialed it down till finally I was actually hand sifting to an ultra fine sifted pork rind. Once I did that, it changed everything. They were the most airy, crispy, delicious crackers I had tasted since starting the ketogenic diet. Now I said that to say this, just like with my cracker, just like that cake, the texture and consistency of your pork rind is the utmost important. How fine you make your pork rind will define how they taste. Man, that rhymed. Now let's go into the baking side of pork rinds. What is it that is lacking in almost every bread we make on the ketogenic diet? That glutinous spring you get like in that nice warm loaf of French bread. Lord knows I miss my French bread. We're not gonna go that far with this. What we would normally use are things like xanthan gum, and people don't like that as much either. But the effect you get with pork rinds, I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna take this pork rind, we're gonna put it in this glass of water, and I'm gonna let it set. Now, look what happens when I let it set. Look at how rubbery the texture is to this, glutinous. Now think, if you take that and turn it into an ultra fine powder, disperse it in your recipe, cook it, you're gonna get little pockets of this glutinous texture. Now properly mask it with your ingredients, you're gonna have a very bread-like or cake-like outcome. This is exactly what happens when you incorporate this into your recipes. Now for the last thing I'll talk about, the pork rind. Which pork rind is best? Well, you definitely want to avoid a greasy pork rind. If they were name brands, Tom's is definitely the best one. And second would probably be that store brand. Judging from the dryness of Tom's and the dryness of store brands, I would venture to say that they probably are processed at the same plant, or at least with the same methods. But the key is finding a dry pork rind, because your NutriBullet or food processor is only going to be able to get that thing fine enough if it's not greasy. If it's greasy, it will not properly process the way you need it to. I hope if you haven't tried pork rinds yet, you give them a shot. And if you tried them and didn't like them, I hope you give them another shot using my rind flour process. With that, guys, I want to thank you so much for sharing my videos on other social media platforms. Has helped tremendously. Guys, thank you so much. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.